Hey everyone, David here from multitool.org. Today we're going to be taking a look at something special, something I've been wanting to review for a while. And this is the modular multi-tool system by Windeler. Windeler is a company based out of the UK. The gentleman that started the company, Mr. Douglas, he came about the idea by he was getting some tools and some items happened to come up when he grabbed a tool. They happened to cling on by magnetism, and that was kind of an aha moment for him, a little bit of a inspiration, and it sent him down a rabbit hole to develop a magnetic system, sort of a magnetic architecture, if you will, before Leatherman decided to coin that term for tools, to be able to attach and remove tools magnetically, have them to be used separately, and have them to be gathered magnetically and easy to use. So first, initially, Mr. Windeler came out with a knife. Everything is started with this knife, which is the monoscale. The monoscale is a one-hand opening blade that is chisel ground, which means it's only ground on one side, and it has a titanium frame, which also serves as a frame lock. The initial blade was probably in 154 cm, as this other blade behind me is. This particular one is an LC200N, which is a incredibly stainless steel. I believe better so than the H1 steel by Spyderco, but with better edge retention. H1 has horrible edge retention, but terrific water resistant properties. So the monoscale, which can be opened one-handed and locks in place with a frame lock, just like a lot of frame locks out there. And it's interesting in its design, in which the handle scale, it's almost like a frame lock that's just literally one-sided. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this in frame here while I'm sitting down for once. But having a frame lock be, missing the other scale is an interesting concept, and having it be so incredibly thin, which, believe it or not, does not cause any issues being used. I still feel like I have plenty of mass, plenty of stuff to grab on while using this. Because it is chisel ground, there's no bevel on this side, no grind, no nothing. It's completely one-sided. Cuts extremely well. Flies through stuff pretty easily, and I appreciate the grind on it. As thin as it is, it should cut extremely well, but also it's fairly thick. It's not it's probably on par with Swiss Army knife thickness, which probably has to do with a lot of the reason why it cuts so darn well. There's jimping, if you will, on the top of the titanium frame, and also on the bottom, but because my thumb is so far, sorry guys, I'm trying to keep all this in frame while sitting down. There's nothing really to place my hand here for jimping, but there is a little bit on the underside for my index finger to get a good grip. The way my camera setup is here at the table, that's why I've set them sitting down. I figured it was a longer video than the other one standing up. The Douglas decided to include some of the titanium beads that they have for their products. I thought it was a nice little addition to the package. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent here. So before we look at the other tools, I want to take a shout out to their packaging. Their packaging is stacked board. It's not wood. They're probably like a dense cardboard. And they're held together by these little straps, these elastic straps. And you'll see it's multiple layers, and like the first layer, you'll see a cutout, and it kind of explains a bit about the item that's in there. And the further down the layer you go, it explains a little bit more about the tool. Go a little bit further, and it's just the saying that's in the middle. But it's an incredibly clever form of packaging a product. It's also a lot easier on the environment too, I feel. And maybe that was his thought process behind that. I just thought it was really cool. And everything from the lanyard beads to the sheath, everything is all packaged the exact same way in this fiberboard stuff. Pretty interesting and unique in the world of packaging. So the little Velcro pouch that I have here is called the Stow, STOW, like you're going to stow something away. And it has a Velcro enclosure, nice soft lined interior. And what it is there's a steel post and disc up under here, and all of the tools will magnetically stay inside the sheath, so you can keep everything together, make sure it doesn't come apart, make sure stuff stays scratch free. Really neat concept. That's how I've been carrying it, is in the Stow. The tool system itself, with its magnetic architecture, there's a, if I can use that, not get in trouble by Leatherman. So what it is there is a circular disc, which kind of reminds you of like a record or a compact disc, in the center that has the company's logo, has a plus on it, which I almost think it should have a plus on one side and minus on the other for magnetism. But the tools have a neodymium, if I'm saying that correctly, neodymium magnet in the center of these, or a rare earth magnet. There's a better way to say it, a rare earth magnet. All the tools are titanium, with the exception of the steel blades, and the magnets will attract to each other. And when they do, they're lined up in such a way so that they always land dead center. There's no way to mess them up the way the magnets are. It's always going to land dead center. So, and the tracks are almost made so it will glide along that pivot, which is really neat. Try to put them in the opposite way, you get just exactly what you would expect. And I hadn't really tried this, but if I put one, you'll see how it'll push the other tool along. So there definitely is a positive and a negative to these tools. As far as usage goes, and I have 3 of the tools that I've been testing out. There is a PH01, they call it, which is a pry bar with some wrenches in the middle, as well as a always ever handy bottle opener. I haven't used the wrenches yet. I haven't come in any situations where I had a nut that met one of these criteria to work on. Pry bar, I've used it as a screwdriver a couple times, a large, flat, some light scraping. The finish is already starting to wear off on the pry bar, so you can see by the way it's glinting. And that's one of the things that's going to be unfortunate, is maybe if there was a different coating, they wouldn't rub off so easy. But that's cosmetic. These are tools. I firmly believe in using tools, even though there's something cool and cosmetic, more what's the way I'm like a boutique, very small run, very specific, very non-commercialized, I guess, like big box stores. This is very small, so you would expect stuff to be higher end, etc. The Phillips has a very long shank to it, very precise. The model number, if you will, is a PH2, so Phillips number 2. There's also a short version that is on the other side for some real tight torque. This is long enough shank to get some deep recesses. The only thing I'm running into so far is them being titanium in nature. You run into an issue of the titanium being a little soft, and when you're turning screws, you have a potential for the titanium to deflect, to get some nicks in it, and that's what I'm seeing so far. I want to see if I can zoom in here so you folks can see what I'm seeing. You'll see some marring already on that Phillips. Maybe also on that you can see some glinting on. You can already see some, say right there. So it's about the downside with titanium. If somebody was going to get into these, I would almost certainly keep an extra set on hand, because I do not know what the longevity or lifespan will be of these tools. These are discontinued, but you can find them still out there floating on the internet, because Windeler is working on an update for these, because he feels that there's a better way to do these. So he'll keep us informed as to what he's going to do next. Word is it's going to be completely transformative from the way that these work. Something else that he had worked on is a locking knife is not legal in some parts of the world, especially the UK. So the minimum, which I believe is short for minimum, he created a slip joint. And I have two versions of it here, one in G10 and one in titanium. You can see where the titanium from the pry bar has been rubbing up against the titanium scale of the handle here. They're the two different ones. This one is in 154 cm. This other one is in that LC 200N. I really like the titanium handle version. I like just the way titanium is. I'm just kind of a titanium nut, so that has a lot to do with it. But the G10 also, it's probably the smoothest G10 I've ever felt. But it has a nice texture on it. But I like the blade. It's a modified sheep's foot blade. The edge is kind of cocked up as opposed to completely flat like most sheep's foot. I like it because the blade is longer than that on the mono scale. The only thing that I don't like about the minimum blade compared to the mono scale is that I'm used to, with slip joints, having an awful lot of what they call walk and talk, which is how the knife pulls out, how it retracts back into the handle, and there's not really a whole lot of snap. But of course I say that, and here's a time where it actually makes a decent snap. But try to see if I can get it to titanium one might have a little better snap than this one. Let me see this one. Yeah, so I'm just used to, like, if you pull it out, enough of a snap. And maybe it's because I'm just so used to smaller slip joints, but the walk and talk on these doesn't snap and pull out as much as I'm used to. I know it sounds like they snap and close authoritatively. They do to a degree, but I don't know. They just feel tight. They just feel tight, I think, is what it is. There's a lot of friction opening and closing compared to a slip joint. I do like the milled nail nick, if you will, in order to pull the blade out. I like the very high grind, a lot higher than that on the mono scale. Also cuts very efficiently to a nice precise tip without being overly so precise that you're running a risk of damaging it. But they all have the same magnetic architecture. Even the knives will all will all attach to one another. And I just keep it, usually I'll just keep everything stacked. I'll keep the knife on the bottom, and I'll add everything, and I'll stick it in the stove until I need it. It's a really, really neat system. You can find everything here at Windeler, at Windeler's website. I want to say it's windeler.co.co. But check them out. They're a neat system, very niche, very unique, but I think that they're worth checking them out. I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. Thank you.